Hey, welcome back, all you beautiful people. Now, we are in the midst of some rotation panic. It is in full swing right now, and I've had a few of you asking me, what's going on with Charizard? How's my favorite flamey fellow going to be after cards rotate out? I'm here to put some of your fears to bed, put some of your worries to ease, and we'll figure out a plan together and how we can keep moving forward with this awesome card. Now let's start by taking a look at what cards are we actually losing once rotation hits. We're going to be losing, first off, all of our V Pokemon, which in Charizard is our Lumineon V and our Rotom V. We're going to be losing all Radiant Pokemon, which in our deck is our Radiant Charizard, which is a great endgame attacker. We're also going to be losing our V Tool and any V Star power, so that for us that's our Forest Seal Stone, which helps us out a lot with our early game consistency and just getting set up quickly. I think one of our bigger sleeper hits that we're losing is going to be our Thornton. Thornton helps us pull that late game or mid game 1-2 switcheroo and really pull a fast one on our opponent, and he will be very much missed. Couple honorable mentions, but things that won't really impact us too heavily. We'll be losing Lost Vacuum, Collapsed Stadium, and Canceling Cologne. Just a couple utility cards that some decks honestly aren't even running anymore these days. But fear not, we're going to take a look now about what cards we can use to fill in these gaps and how we can keep moving forward with the big bad himself. So looking into replacement cards and how we can become even stronger going forward. First one's easy. For Rotom, we can just use a Cleffa or another Cleffa. If we're already running one, we might end up running two instead. And that's something that a lot of our decks already have incorporated in, so it'll be pretty simple to just pivot that way going forward to have some early game draw power. Now the problem is that Grasping Draw cannot be used if we're going first, because it does count as an attack, so we might see a switch to going second more often. To replace Lumineon and Forest Seal Stone, it's not quite a 1-to-1, but we could see an inclusion of a Hoothoot Noctowl line in order to get more card selection to increase our early game consistency. Now this would require an additional component because we need a Tera Pokemon on the bench already in order for Jewel Seeker to be utilized. So we might see something like a Terapagos become included in the deck in order to get Jewel Seeker online. Jewel Seeker lets us choose 2 trainer cards, so that's any supporter, any item, any tool, any stadium, out of our deck when we evolve from Hoothoot to Noctowl with another Tera Pokemon on the bench or in the game already. Replacement for Radiant Zard, we have Bloodmoon Ursaluna that's already in the game. The drawback to this is that it is a 2 prize card instead of just the 1 that Radzard is. But he's swinging for about the same amount. It does this nearly the same thing, and he's got a bit beefier of a hit point to work with, so it's not a bad trade-off. Unfortunately, we don't have an exact answer for Thornton at this time, but hopefully with some of the new sets that are coming out this year, we'll see a close replacement. Charizard will, of course, like all decks, have access to Badoo once Prismatic Evolutions becomes legal to play. So we could see some potential with this and some early game stalls as Charizard sets up. Because of Badoo, we could also potentially see a switch to a slower version of Charizard that utilizes things like Technical Machine Evolution or even Grand Tree to get our Stage 2 Pokemon into the game without using rare candies. I think that this will be very popular, especially in the first few weeks into Prismatic Evolutions, because Badoo stocks are going to be going absolutely wild. So pull out the cards from your old League battle decks, make sure your TM Evolutions are still handy, because they're probably going to be pretty valuable and worthwhile to use coming in the next few months. I want to share an example of what a post-rotation Charizard deck could potentially look like. And this, as I hinted earlier, is using the Hoothoot Noctowl line in order to get our early game consistency going. You can craft some pretty creative combos with these Pokemon that will let you get out those rare candies, those Ultra Balls, those Tera Orbs, in order to get your Pidgeot and your Charizard online as soon as possible. This deck still has your Dusknoir line. It has Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX in place of that Radzard. And I want to say this is by no means a brand new deck list. This is actually a list that saw some tournament success last year. Still kind of more of a rogue deck as far as the meta is concerned, but it's definitely been tried and proven already. I have just gone through and taken out all of the cards that will be gone post-rotation, like your Thornton and a few others along those lines, and done my best to slot in what I believe would be good replacements for them. This is by no means a perfect 60, but I think it's a pretty good jumping off point to start meta testing for post-rotation Zard, and it can really be a fun deck to play that gives you a lot of potential for some pretty powerful plays. My name is Jared, and I'll be your gameplay nurse today. Alright, getting into it with our Terapagos Charizard deck. This is a deck that typically likes to go first. Our opponent won the coin flip though, so, you know, only so much he can do sometimes. But we're not too bad off going second. Just means that we won't be able to attack quite as early as we like, but we have plenty of options in our deck to make up for maybe being a little bit behind in the prize trade, so definitely not the end of the world for Charizard, as we all know pretty well by now. We've got our opponent running bit of an interesting deck. See a Venipede on the bench there. So nothing meta, but we'll figure it out nonetheless. Now turn one looks a little different because we don't have our Rotom and everything. Gonna wait on that area 0. But we've got some pretty good search in our hand, so we're feeling pretty solid. What we can do is we can Buddy Pop in and grab our Fan Rotom and our Pidgey. Could also grab a Charizard here, Charmander, sorry, or a Duskull. What's nice about Fan Rotom is it can grab us a Hoothoot or a Pidgey. So play around with your Buddy Pop and see what's most optimal for you. I think I will grab a Charmander here instead. Well, let's see. No, I'll grab a Fan Rotom and Pidgey like my first instinct was. I like that. We can use our Tera Orb here. This is to find a Charizard or a Terapagos. I love it for that early game Terapagos. We need Terapagos on the bench right away because having him as our Tera Pokemon is what activates the Jewel Seeker ability for our Noctowls. And speaking of, Fan Call lets us grab any colorless Pokemon that's under 100 HP. So we get to grab our Hoothoots and a Noctowl here. Help us out a lot going into our next turn. We can get our Hoothoots on the bench and throw our Area 0 down because we'll get one more Pokemon into play. I think I'd like to see maybe one more Charmander or a Duskull. I'll go with one more Mander here. That way I don't have to worry too much about retreating this one. And I'm going to slap a Fire Energy on Terapagos. I think I'll hold off on the Professor's Research. Could rip it now, but then I'd lose that guaranteed Noctowl for next turn, which is going to help us get the rest of the way set up. So I'm not super worried about seeing a fresh set of cards right this instant. So we'll go ahead and just pass there. See what our opponent's got going on. Not 100% familiar with the deck that they're running. So we'll kind of be going into this a bit blind. I know I played it once before in a tournament. I just don't remember exactly what the concept is. Was kind of worried when I saw the Brute Bonnet come out that there was going to be a Cloth Donkage on turn 1, but thankfully that didn't happen. Okay, so now we have our Noctowl, we have our access to our Jewel Seeker ability. We need a Pidgeot, and we need a Rare Candy. So we can go ahead and Noctowl here. Now we could grab a Jacq, and that would give us access to our Pidgeot without having to Ultra Ball away 2 supporters. But it doesn't let us use any other supporters this turn, which is kind of a bummer. Would be nice to gust up that Whirlipede. Definitely need some rare candies going on. So I could get a Ultra Ball away the Research and the Zard. Get Pidgeot for Noctowl. And then Noctowl for a Tera Orb or a Night Stretcher and another rare candy. And then we can take out that Whirlipede. I think that's going to be kind of crazy, but this is what this deck is about. It's kind of crazy. So let's just rip it. You know, we're playing for fun right now. We're just trying things out, so let's not be afraid to get a little crazy. So we get the Pidgeot here. Okay. Rare candy to get the Pidgeot going. And then let's quick search for our second Noctowl. Make sure that we have everything we need before we have a Tera Orb. Another rare candy, of course. And one more Charizard in the deck. I could also Night Stretcher for him, but I think we'll go with the Tera Orb for now, just because it's less utility compared to Night Stretcher. Then we can evolve here. Jewel Seeker once again. Grab that rare candy. Grab that Tera Orb. Grab our Charizard once again. Evolve here. And now we can boss up that Whirlipede. Oh, Infernal Rain first, of course. I'm going to grab all 3 so that I can get that Terapagos online as well for another attacker. Now we can boss up that Whirlipede and hopefully set our opponent a little bit behind. So those are kind of those creative combos that I was talking about earlier. You know, that might not have been 100% worth it, but it was fun to do. And it kind of expanded my mind a little bit to think that through. Makes me feel like I'm maybe a better player than I am, who knows? But, you know, that's kind of the fun that you can have with the Terapagos Noctowl Charizard. If you haven't played like Terapagos Palkia or just a Terapagos Dusknoir deck before, the combo portion of it is really entertaining and fun to play around with. So give that a go. It could be an interesting deck to pick up moving forward into the format with a lot of the draw power that we're losing going into rotation. So pretty fun stuff there. I think next turn, if we don't top deck anything useful, I might quick search for like an Iono or a Research just to see a new set of cards because it's looking a little sad right now. I doubt they'll be able to take a knockout this turn, but we'll see there as well. Got some juicy 2-prizers that we can start looking at too. So we're hoping to get like that Fezandipiti or Rotom V going. Yeah, I don't need my own Fezandipiti right now, but thank you. Let's go ahead and quick search. We could also potentially Prime Catcher into the Terapagos and take a 2-prize knock on that Fez. That could be pretty fun. We don't have a Research. We have an Iono, though. They have 8 cards, getting them down to 6. Not crazy. 1 candy left. We do have our Prime Catcher. 1 Fire Energy left. But we got our Super Rod for later. If I don't Prime Catcher, I think I'll grab it. think it'll be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3 is 180. So we need to get the Fez down to be able to do enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 3 is 210. Let's go ahead and Prime Catcher here. And we'll take that knockout. See a few more prize cards going in. And we got another Iono, so next turn, you know, not too shabadoo. See what they think about all of that. Still got our Pidgeot for quick search next turn too. I don't see a way of them taking that out. So we're feeling pretty okay at this point. They finally got their Pidgeot online. So hopefully they'll be able to do something in response. Game plan right now, Prime Catcher boss. The only other Gust we run is Counter Catcher, which we're not going to have access to because we're not going to be behind in prize cards. So we'll just have to take a knockout on whatever they leave in the active. We'll look on maybe establishing Dusclops this turn. We can at least get that going with the Buddy Bubby, and then look for a way to finish the game with Dusknoir going into our last turn in just a little bit here. So feeling pretty comfortable with our setup at this point. I think taking that early game knockout, using all those resources to get that Whirlipede out of there, did end up helping us, because now they're quite a bit behind, but we'll see once they rare candy into the stage 2 right here. Okay. Might be able to get this knockout on the Terapagos. Honestly, have no idea how much they're going to be swinging for here. Hopefully, if they do take the knockout onto Terapagos, they will do it with straight up damage versus poison damage, but we'll see. All right, spinning attack for 40. No, wrong one. Oh, right. So they're going to put me to 10, and then they're going to take me out with poison. So no Fezandipiti for us this turn. And losing our bench space here is actually a good thing, because we'll be able to get rid of these Noctowls, and we can use them. Oh, I have to move to active first. Move Pidgeot, of course. Oh, I still have a Tera Pokemon. Charizard counts as our Tera, so we're not going to lose our bench space just yet. I think I will still Buddy here for Duskull and another Hoothoot. And then we can Iono and see what we draw into. Okay. And then we'll just take a knockout on their Scolipede. See what we want to quick search for, of course. Could get a Dusclops for next turn. Or our Noctowl. That would be really helpful for next turn. I used Iono this turn. Don't have anything. I don't really need Super Rod. Super bad. Right? I don't think there's anything in my discard that's worth getting back right now. Nope. Potentially Charizard, but eh. Okay, so we'll just grab Noctowl. That way next turn we can get Dusknoir online and finish the game with that. Okie dokie. And ooh, we will need another Tera Pokemon for next turn, because well, I would be surprised if they could get another Scolipede going to knock out Charizard. We'll see, though. Never say never, right? There's our other rare candy. That'll be good. Help us get a Noctowl or Dusknoir online, or another Charizard if we really need. I'm hoping though, if they do take a 2-prizer this turn, that we can Bloodmoon and Dusknoir to finish the game out. That's kind of the plan moving forward. We'll see what they're able to develop here though. They've got their own quick search, so that's quite helpful. Okay, so they might be able to get the Fez knockout, or they could just be stalling. Clapping back with their own Iono. Hey, there's our Dusknoir and a Nest Ball, so that's nice. We can get Bloodmoon and Dusknoir. We just need that rare candy, which we can get with quick search. I'm not too mad about all of that. What would they use to knock the Fezandipiti, or are they just using it to stall? They're just using it to stall. Okay, interesting. Not too bad, though. Buddy's not going to help us. So we could Pidgeot for Noctowl. But then we don't have a way to get energy to the Fezandipiti. If we quick search for Noctowl, we can get a rare candy, get Dusknoir online. Or we quick search for an energy that I don't know if we have, honestly. We do. And then we can get Fezandipiti out of the active and take out Radiant Greninja. And then they kill Charizard next turn with Scolipede. But that's okay, because then we clap back with... We use... Alright, because then I won't be able to get Dusknoir online. So I don't have like an Earthen Vessel or anything like that. I could get an Iono and hope to draw into... I wonder if I should have gone for the energy there. I do have a lot of energy in my prizes, I know that. So maybe taking out this Radgren will get me... Or I can Iono. And that'll give me a chance to see another card as well. That would also put me back down to 2, though. Or do I want to grab a Bloodmoon? No, I don't need it. I could grab a Turo here. Duh. Okay, love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and rare candy here. We will Cursed Blast the Radiant Greninja. Could have Cursed Blast like a Venipede or whatever, but it doesn't matter. We're going to win this turn anyways. Let them get their prize card. We'll get our prize card. Let them promote a new one into the active. They might have just left the game at this point. So no matter what, we're going to be able to Turo up Fezandipiti, get Charizard into the active, and take our last prize card. So that's kind of a quick rundown of how Terapagos Charizard can kind of function. You really get to utilize 110% of your brain working through those combos with the Noctowl early game. Makes it feel like a really fun deck to play. Feels like you've always got an option, a way out, a way to pivot. I think we're going to be minus actually here. I was wrapping up a little too soon. Hey, Hindsight Jared popping in here. Wanted to explain how I could have avoided this situation so that I can learn from this mistake, this misplay. You can learn from this misplay as well. So what I should have done there instead is I should have used my Dusknoir to pop out one of those Venipedes in the back, and then just swung on that Radiant Greninja to get a guaranteed knockout onto that one prizer Pokemon, instead of giving my opponent the ability to push forward the Pidgeot EX at all. So, you know, we learn from these videos. That's the whole point of them. I learn from them as much as y'all do. So I really appreciate you giving me the grace to learn alongside of you. And then now let's get back to it and just see how Past Jared weasels his way out of this one. Bloodmoon here. And then we'll miss the knockout and we'll see what happens next turn. Very smart. Very smart. Okay. So we're still in this game. Can't wrap up just yet. See what they think about all of this. If they take my Charizard here, that's fine, because they'll take 2 prizes, and then I can just push up the Bloodmoon and swing for free. And that's not a big deal. Still very smart of them to stall it out for one more turn. I would imagine they'll be able to rare candy up for a, what was it called? Scolipede. Yep. That thing is so weird looking. And then they'll be able to take out one more. One more. Stay alive for one more turn. And then we'll push the Bloodmoon and finish this game out. Okay, good game, good game. Where was I? Back to wrapping it up. Okay, so like I was saying, a bunch of fun stuff you can do with this deck. It potentially a way to play Charizard going into the future post-rotation. I think that there's also a world where Charizard is pretty much the same exact as it is right now, with just a few minor changes here and there. So don't expect too much to change going into post-rotation for Charizard. Your investment into the League Battle deck and some of these upgrade cards are still going to be worth it. If you're really tight and you're running a stricter budget, go ahead and just skip over the V Pokemon for now. Don't worry about Forest Sealstone. Don't worry about Radiant Charizard. You could look into just running Bloodmoon Ursaluna even today in place of Radiant Zard. I know a lot of those Radiant Pokemon are a bit harder to find and a bit more pricey, but you can pick up a Bloodmoon Ursaluna for under $2. They're available at most local shops. So start looking into some of these cards, how you can start playing Charizard in the future, and just don't be afraid to have fun. That's the point of this game. That's why we're all here at the end of the day, is to have fun. Try not to stress out about the meta too much. Try not to stress out about having a perfect 60. Just go to your local card store or play on live and just swing through the fences, see what sticks, and just have a good time with it. My name's Jared. Thanks for watching another video. Like and subscribe. I'd love to see you stick around and become a part of this wonderful community. Have a good one.